Good day, students. Today we're going to look at some more practice exercises from the chapter 3 in booklet 1 of your ma1025 booklets, and this has to do with multiplying and dividing mixed numerals or fractions as well, right? Okay. Now, the first thing you're going to do when you're multiplying is to change, of course, to an improper. And we all should know how to do that by this stage. For example, if I look at the very first one here, 2 2/7, how do I change that from mixed to improper? So you multiply the 2 by the 7. 7 times 2 is 14. And then add the 2 on top, so that'll be 16. And of course, the denominator stays as 7. Times 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 1 is 7/3. Okay? Now, when you're multiplying fractions, you can use a method of what's called cross-canceling. Now, cross-canceling means that you can cancel something in the numerator on one side with the denominator on the other side. Okay? Because I really could write this as one fraction if I wanted. I could say it's 16 times 7 over 7 times 3. Right? So the numerator here is actually, right, can cancel with the denominator there. So the numerator is actually the whole thing, isn't it? So we could look at it that way. Alright? So if I look at this question, though, I see right away a 7 on top of one side and a 7 on the other. So I could say 7 divides into 7 once. 7 divides into this 7 once. And then I have 16 times 1, which is 16, and 1 times 3, which is 3. Now, a lot of people argue that this is the simplest form. However, if you're given a mixed fraction problem like this, you should put it back to a mixed fraction. So 16/3, divide 3 into 16, 5. 5 times 3 is 15. How many are left over? 1 left over. So this is the same as 5 1/3. Now, there are other ways to do it. Some people do not cross cancel. So if we go back to the second step where we changed it to from mixed to improper, some people multiply out the whole top. 16 times 7, right? They'll actually do the 16 times 7. I'll just go over on the calculator. 16 times 7, which is 112, and 7 times 3, which is 21. However, then you'll have to go back and reduce it. And what is the common number you're going to reduce by? It is 7. So guess this way you're doing an extra step that's really not needed. So you do 112 divided by 7, which of course is 16, and 21 divided by 7, which is 3, giving you the same answer, 16/3, which you change to 5 1/3. Now these also can be done on calculator check, but you should know the steps, because lots of time you're asked to do what? Show your work, which means in a part 2 type question, a longer answer type question, you're going to have to show these steps. But the nice thing about it is you can verify all of this on your calculator. Now, if you have the latest version of the software in your calculator, to go to the fraction, there's a shortcut to a fraction window, okay, and that's alpha. See the alpha button, the green button, alpha, and then y equals, so to get F1. And it brings up 4 different options. Regular fraction, what we call, can be a regular, proper or an improper fraction. This one is a mix. So number 2 is mixed. So it's u and n/d. So if I go down to number 2, that gives me a mixed fraction. And I can actually put it in 2, scroll over, use your right arrow button to go to the top, 2, down arrow to go to 7. So there's the first one. Right arrow, step out, multiplied by, and then again alpha, y equals number 2, mixed fraction, and then we have 2 and 1/3. Enter. Now it's going to give you mixed, or sorry, it's going to give you as an improper answer, right? 16 over 3. And if you want to change back to proper to improper, then go down to number 3 and enter. Okay, and it'll change it back for you. It changes, as you can see, from improper to mixed. Okay, so the answer is 5 1/3, as you can see. Okay, let's go down and tackle the division problem. Now there's only one difference with the division problem, and that is we change it to multiplication. But before we do that, you have to be able to change it from what we call mixed again, right? This is a mixed numeral to an improper. Okay, so let's do that. 2 times 6, remember, multiply these two, add the 1 on top, and put it over the same denominator. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13 over 2. And we're going to divide that by 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1, and that's 13 over 4. And then, of course, when you multiply by a fraction, or divide by a fraction, is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal, right? So I'll say that again. When you're dividing by a fraction, right, it's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. And reciprocal means to flip the fraction, right? So now we're right back to, can we cross cancel? And we should be able to see you can. Now you can only cross cancel when multiply, right? When it's multiplied only. So 13 goes into 13 once, 13 goes into 13 once. Look at that. 2 goes into 2 once, and 2 goes into 4 twice. So all you're left with is 2 times 1, which is 2. 1 times 1, so this simplifies to 2. And again, once you're at the improper fraction stage, 13 over 2 times 4 over 13, you can multiply straight out. Okay, so you could have done 13 times 4, and that would have been 52. And you, right, multiply the numerator by the numerator, right? That's how you multiply. And then denominator times denominator, right? Which is 2 times 13, which is 26. And then 52 divided by 26 on your calculator, and you would have got 2. So it's another way we could have done it. And again, just to verify on the calculator, again, math, or alpha, sorry, green button, alpha, F1, or y equals, so the F1 function. Mixed is number 2. Put in your mixed, which is 6, 1 over 2, 6.5. Now this time we divide, okay, and alpha, y equals, number 2, and this is 3, 1, and 1/4. And hit enter. And there's your answer 2. Notice how the brackets were added by the calculator for clarification. Okay, so there's examples of multiplying and dividing mixed numerals.